Good morning. Good morning, Charles Van Morgan. Starting early this morning before daybreak. Hope you can see me. Wait until people get in. Charles Van Morgan. Got a lot to cover today. My heart aches in light of the news. I didn't know Charlie Kirk personally. I did listen to a lot of his videos and held a lot of his views. I am Christian. It's not a view, that's a faith. So come on in, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot to talk about. So what happened yesterday highlights some of the stuff that quite frankly, that I've been going through. Activists get punished in more ways than one. So I'm going to turn this camera around. Come on in. Thank you all. God bless you all. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Let me turn this around where you can see me better. Yeah, Charles Van Morgan. Charles Van Morgan Unbridled News morning show at about 6:30. You've got a lot to cover. Hopefully you can see me. We're going to talk about Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk about activism and the dangers of it. I have faced it. I'm well aware. I'm no novice at this, protecting myself, and I'm not ignorant of the dangers of violence against activists. I've experienced it. And I want to talk about this morning, we're going to talk about that violence against activists comes in many forms, not just a sniper with a gun. It also comes in the form of government snipers that use their powers wrongfully to shut down opposition in the United States of America. I've experienced that. Up close and personal, I've been injured because of my activism in more ways than one. So I'm not in any way minimizing the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm sure he was well aware of the dangers of what he was doing. And come on in, Charles Van. We're going to talk about that this morning. My heart breaks. It's a wicked world in more ways than one. We're going to talk about activists and freedom of speech, as there is more than political activists. There's activists that make the world a better place that are subject to danger. The broad definition of activists. And there's political activists, which I've been that too. And there's also more ways than one for violence against activists. We're going to talk about that and see what y'all think. God bless y'all. Come on in. Charles Van Morgan, the morning show. My heart breaks this morning. Breaking news. Charlie Kirk murdered by a sniper. And who did it has not been arrested yet. So let me see how many people I got in here. Come on in, Charles Van Morgan, the morning show, Unbridled News, and we're just going to tell it like it is. And if you don't like my views, then tell me why. And maybe we can talk and come to an agreement. I think that's what they said Charlie Kirk did. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. Thank you all so very much. We read some of the comments here. It says, hi, Helen Haggis. Hello, Helen. Oh my G, Helen. Okay, yeah. Yo, John Goodwin, hello. Yeah, I'm not John Goodwin. I'm not a comedian. I'm the real deal, telling the truth. So thank y'all for coming on in. Join us, comment. So we're talking about violence against activists. That's a broad term, violence against activists. Had something happen yesterday that's horrific, that highlights what we deal with. And let me turn this around again. You get a better picture of me, I bet. Try to anyway. So yeah, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We are talking about activist Charlie Kirk, and what happened to him is horrible. So he was shot and killed by a sniper bullet, and we're going to talk about how that, hey there, a couple of highs and hey there. Thank you all so very much for joining in. God bless you all. So let's start a poll. You agree activism is more than politics, and the government, is responsible for a lot of it. Let's start that poll. See what y'all have to say about that. We'll try to turn this around. And thank y'all so very much for Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We're going to talk about activism and political activism, and what we can do about it. There we go. Put it on normal. Thank y'all for coming, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff I've experienced in my life as far as activism. It involves more than just political activism. There's other forms of activism that can cause you to get damaged in your life. Going against people in government power, or simply doing what God wants you to do. Being active in what God wants you to do, what God asks you to do. And one of the main things that God is behind is spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. Try to spread that and see what happens. It can be dangerous, and also protecting human lives. That's a form of activism. God's behind those things. Charlie Kirk, an update on him. So we're going to cover activism and some of the personal things I've experienced, and make it up close and personal. And also we're going to, Charlie Kirk, the update on him from what I heard this morning. It's heartbreaking to me that someone would kill such an innocent young man. It's horrible. Horrible, senseless murder of a political activist spreading peace and peacefully having debates on college campuses. It's sickening. They haven't, update this morning from what I've heard from the major news sources, is that they haven't got anyone in custody involving Charlie Kirk's murder. A cheap shot sniper, one of the lowest forms of scum on the planet, to do that from a distance. That's sick. That's the world we live in. Because of a political activist. Even if you don't agree with his positions, most political people have come out and condemned that act of violence. But will they condemn it against acts of violence when the government is the perpetrator? The government is sometimes the perpetrator of violence against people in many forms. Let's hear them go against that. They won't do that. like I talked about yesterday, a lot of rule changing for peaceful protest, or a lot of rule changing when you're exercising your rights. What about that kind of activism? And what about when the government commits acts of violence and unlawful, illegal injunctions and rules? Even Martin Luther King dealt with that. Let's talk about government violence from people in government power. Nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, no. Let's talk about a lone sniper. How about let's talk about people in power violence? Let's talk about that. How about that? Oh, I'm not allowed to do that. Yeah, right. I'm not, am I? Yeah, that's dangerous to your safety, health, protection, and well-being, isn't it? We're going to talk about that. It's called freedom of speech on a public sidewalk. If they don't want to hear, I'm subject to defamation laws. But it's not defamation if it's true. See, they forgot I got a JD, a law degree, just like them. But because of a form of violence against me by the government, by the Tennessee government, by the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, I can't even get my law license. Let's talk about that kind of violence. You say, oh, you big baby, that's not violence, you're not hurt. I'm not hurt, really. How do you make a living when you're defamed by the government? You've done the same thing they've done, but you're not allowed to make a living with a law degree like they are, and people in legal positions don't even have a law degree but allowed to do, lifted up by the government. Let's talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. I'm not allowed to talk about other forms of activism, and we'll talk about that today, that protect lives that are, in my view, I believe, God's work, that evil people want to stop, and they want to stop me because I'm involved in God's work. Let's talk about protecting lives. Anything to do with protecting lives, anything you do, activist, not necessarily speaking out activism, actually doing something about a dangerous condition in the United States can get you killed, both while you're doing it by thugs and both by the government that wants you to stop. The government thugs. Let's talk about that. Anybody ever think about that? I do, because I know I've experienced it. So the update on Charlie Kirk is there's no one in custody, which doesn't help him either way. He's gone. I believe because of his faith. I have the same faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. I believe he's in heaven with Jesus, and I don't think he'd come back if he had the opportunity. Once you see the other side of life, and there is another side of life, something that the reason for a lot of these shootings and killings is because they've taken faith out of the mainstream beliefs, out of universities, and faith is punished by activists like me that promote it. Even if you don't believe it, you should protect my right to facilitate and spread it. And so Charlie Kirk, the person that has shot and killed him, has not been arrested. Now, I'm not sure how far in the investigation they are, but the mainstream media today is saying that the two people they arrested, they have released. And I'm sure they've got the bullet that killed him, so they know what type of gun that fired it. I'm not sure how far they are in the investigation, but it makes no difference to him and his family. If they catch the person and execute him, Charlie Kirk's still dead. The bad thing about it is not for him. He's in heaven. He served his purpose on the earth. Could have done more. It's an evil, wicked planet with evil, wicked people in government power, but they don't want me to talk about that, or the government will perpetrate acts of violence against me in many different forms that I experienced. And me and Michelle talked about violence and whether or not I should be doing this, standing up against the people in power. I'm not at universities with a turning point. I'm on the city streets running for public office, and all across Tennessee standing up for truth, standing up for the violence perpetrated, and I get this, by people in government power are as practically dirty as snipers. They just do it in a different way. And I'll explain to you some of the damage they've done to me. That there's more than one way to kill somebody. You can, with a sniper bullet, shoot them from a distance away, or you can lie on them, defame them, leave them alive, but try to destroy their life and everything they do and make it a society dangerous for them. That's what people in government power have done to me. And that's up close and personal. I'm not afraid to say it. If you disagree with me, I'm not going to hurt you. There's a lot of people out there that have to wait in line that would like to kill me. And some of them, a lot of them, sit in government offices. And I know they would because of the things that they have done to try to do that. Even admitted that some of the stuff they said was not true, but they rang the bell and then took it back and said in a lot of government proceedings. So I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm just telling you, America, Tennesseans, let's do something about this. It's a serious thing. Vote. And that's the hardest thing that people in government power don't want to hear. And they're as nasty and dirty as a sniper. They just do it in different ways. And if they thought they could get by with it, they might do that too. So let's see how many people I've got on. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to update you on the Charlie Kirk. No one's in custody. That doesn't matter to him. It's tragic for his family, even if they get someone in custody. And I hope they do. I don't know where they're at in that. So yeah, we got a bunch of people on here. Charles Van Morgan in the morning, a activist. I know this is dangerous. I'm no fool. So yeah, we're for governor. Now, I got arrested for running for governor in 2022. Remember that? Activist. And who arrested me? Wasn't a sniper at a university. It was the government. People in government power did that. People in government power did that. And they would have tried to make it stick, other than the fact that our criminal laws allow for people to go before a jury. A jury of their peers to determine innocence or guilt. It's not the government. The government will try to do that by making you make a deal. I wasn't making no deal. I didn't do anything wrong. I did something wrong in their handbook. It's a crime to run for governor. If you're not one of the major political parties, you're not allowed to do that. And how dare you speak the truth about us and say bad stuff about us that will protect the public. Yeah, that's political violence by the government. I've experienced more than just political violence. So the murder of Charlie Kirk comes close to home. You're looking at somebody that's been sniped, attempted by the government, by people in government power, even before I was politically active, because I was an activist for public safety. So we'll talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. No, everybody's on board. Oh, it's a horrible thing. What about what you're doing right now to a peaceful political activist and a peaceful activist for public safety before that, which is why all this started. But no, let's not talk about that. Let's not have a real definition of activist, which to me is anybody involved in God's work, spreading the gospel, which Charlie Kirk was. And you got a right not to listen to it. If you don't want to listen to it, that's your right. You got a right to spread whatever you want to spread. I don't have to listen to it. An activist accounts for anybody active in providing for public safety, like I was when I was on the road for the Tennessee Highway Patrol, more than anybody else in the state. Lowered the fatality rate. I was an activist, rightfully using my legal, lawful authority, and people in government power used a sniper bullet, not to kill me with a real bullet, but to assassinate my character. Character assassination is a form of assassination, and that was done by people in government power. But they don't like me saying that. That's the truth. There's more than one way to kill somebody. A sniper bullet or character assassination, which is what they did to me. And I'm here to tell you, they are the dirty ones. I am the one that was lowering people getting killed, including children, on Tennessee highways. They release little children. They release people that that hurts critically little children, and gaslighted me, said I did it, and they were the ones that released the perpetrators without any penalty. So now we're waiting on trying to find out who killed Charlie Kirk, an activist just like me, in a different form, even before he was an activist. I'm older than him, and that's horrible. I'm not trying to detract from his death. It's horrible. I'm just trying to shine a light to make things better on the government assassinations of people's character. Trying to call good evil and evil good right out of the pages of the Bible, right? Yeah. So here we go. Let's see if we get across this road. Thank y'all so very much. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Let's see how many people we got, and then we're going to update you about what I know, listen to the news about Charlie Kirk. So yeah, we got a bunch of people on here. Thank y'all so very much for joining me. And I got some pictures that, if I get a place, I'm going to show you some pictures. A picture's worth 1,000 words. And we're going to show you some pictures to go with some concepts, some points I want to make. I've got a right to speak, even if people don't like my speech. It's called the marketplace of ideals. People have a right to put them in there, and they come up with the best ideals. Freedom of speech is not a privilege in the United States. It's a right. I got an adjudicated hearing from a dirty Tennessee judge that thinks freedom of speech is a privilege. Yeah, it's a right to them, and a right for us in their crooked courts. If we speak good about them, then it's a right. But if we tell the truth about them, then it's a privilege that they revoke the privilege, because it goes against them, because we're driving against them where we need to be going, because it doesn't protect their power. And this isn't stuff I'm just making up off the top of my head. This is stuff I've learned in their universities. It's called sociology. It's science. I know what I'm talking about. So, an update on Charlie Kirk. I was saddened by his death yesterday. And the bad thing is for his family. The perpetrator is still at large. I'm not sure how far they are in the investigation. They may never find who did it. They may never find who did it. That doesn't help him. It doesn't help his family and his children, which is most important right now. The thing it does is, a perpetrator that committed that heinous act is still at large, still running around, still capable of shooting me, of attacking any activist. And he needs to be caught and brought to justice. And for a heinous act like that, he should be executed. He should be taken out of this world. That's exactly the reason why I'm for executions, is because of heinous acts like that, cowardly acts. People like that have forfeited their right to live on the planet. And not just murdering political activists. Heinous murders that people do, the sick things that they do, I believe influenced and guided by Satan and demons, and also influenced by their own emotions that have gone wild and crooked and evil, and people that don't trust God. And one of the reasons why violence goes on like that in our schools is because we've taken faith out of our schools. And let me just mention this. If you have a lot of school shootings have increased dramatically since I was in school. Why is that? Why was there, you didn't hear about school shootings when I was in school. All of a sudden they have dramatically increased to where we spend a lot of money, we should spend more, on school shootings. And they've dramatically skyrocketed. When I was in school in the 70s, 80s, and even when I was in college in the early 90s, we weren't worried about school shootings. They happened rarely. I didn't go to school worried about that. I had to deal with bullies in school, but they would push you around, not push back. They wouldn't shoot you. You didn't have to worry about getting shot up at school. Why do we now? Why on a college campus do political activists not promoting violence have to worry about getting shot and killed by a sniper bullet because we've taken faith out of our culture. It's illegal to have faith. The Supreme Court rulings and the rulings of unjust judges have said that that's pushing religion on people. But when you take faith out of our beliefs, you teach little children and you teach adults that there is no ultimate punishment for crimes that we're unable to stop because of our freedoms. You got to let people have guns to protect themselves. But when you teach them there's no eternal punishment for heinous crimes, there's no damnation for the wicked, which is right out of the pages of the Bible. That's an argument that's been going on for centuries. People believe that there's no punishment for evil, people that have no faith. And when you do that, you raise an entire generation, millions and millions of people that have no fear of God Almighty. In my faith, my belief is you shouldn't fear man if you're doing right. If you're doing right, you shouldn't fear man. But you have to now because the government is, people in government power, a lot of them are wicked. Not every one of them, a lot of them are. But you shouldn't fear man, you should fear God. Because you face, when you do these mass shootings, if you have faith in eternal God, I believe through the Lord Jesus Christ, it teaches very clearly that no murderer will enter into heaven. No unforgiving murder, unforgiven. I believe God is gracious and forgiving. People can come to repentance. I know of no verse that teaches that can't even be forgiven. But they teach these children and adults that faith is bad. Faith is not bad. Faith teaches people, and we need to teach in schools, that if you do these heinous acts, you'll burn in hell. There's eternal justice. You might get by with the justice on this earth. You might avoid law enforcement. Law enforcement's a lot crooked. But you will not avoid God's punishment. God is in every place, beholding the evil and the good. God knows who shot that bullet. And man may never find him accountable. This is probably what Charlie Kirk knew, and I know it too. I know it. Faith. And if anybody hurts me, they might get by with it on this earth. They have so far. That incident that happened to me while I was an activist providing for public safety happened about 14 years ago. And people in government power have prospered since then. Some of them got promoted because of their lies. Charlie Kirk's murder may never be found on the face of this planet. But I think justice has been done, and in God works in mysterious ways. And I think there's more justice to be done. It lit a fire under me where I'll fight in another direction. I was fighting drunk drivers and lowering the fatality rate, drunk and impaired drivers, even for them. That's a godly act to do any act. It's activism that protects and promotes the preservation of life, which is what I was doing. They've twisted that and said I was doing something dirty, which is not true. So if you commit these heinous acts, God knows what you're doing. And in my faith and belief, you'll pay for it in eternity, because there is a life after death. There is. And it's not with Allah. You'll meet God Almighty. Every man will stand before the judgment seat of God. Everybody will. And if you murder somebody like they did Charlie Kirk, you'll pay for that. If not on this earth, and I hope they find him, in the world to come. They don't teach that in schools. You can run around murdering anybody. If they don't believe with you, you can get angry, and once you're dead, you're gone and you're out of here. I bet it's a rude awakening when people, after they committed these heinous acts and they rejected faith, just like the world rejects faith, that they are alive in another form. The soul never dies, in front of an almighty angry God, and they suffer the punishment for the crimes that they commit. I believe that. That's my faith. But that doesn't stop the belief that people should pay for what they do on the face of this planet. And we need to clean government up, because government's responsible for a lot of punishment and sniper acts in that form against activists. So, update on the Charlie Kirk. They haven't found who did it. It doesn't help his family if they do. It might give a little closure. He's gone. God allowed it for whatever purpose. I don't question God. God's always good. That doesn't mean God is not good because he allowed evil to happen. If God didn't allow evil, then there's a lot of different adverse consequences. We're not in heaven yet. God allows evil. That doesn't make God evil. God didn't do that. He allowed it. That doesn't make him evil. It means all things work together for good to them that love God, to them that are called according to his purpose. I believe Charlie Kirk was called according to God's purpose. And they'll work together for good in eternity. I wouldn't be so bold, and I'm not, as to question God. Even in bad things, I thank God, because I believe, I have faith that there's an eternal good that God knows, and I don't question God. I wouldn't dare do that. People have. I wouldn't do that. I've been through that, and I've come to the conclusion that God is always good, even when he allows bad things. And I don't understand a great, loving, and merciful, almighty God, and I can't come close to that. So I'm not in the position to challenge God, because I know that God does good. He allowed Charlie Kirk to get killed, spreading the gospel, spreading the truth. A political activist, a good one. I share a lot of his beliefs, and I will intend to perpetrate them, to facilitate them. As when Martin Luther King was killed, the civil rights movement expanded. It just amplified his voice. This will just amplify not the cause of Charlie Kirk, the cause of the gospel, and also the cause of political rights, freedom of speech. No matter what you believe, it should just amplify it. And I'm trying to amplify what the government does. Let's talk about the government abuse. So Charlie Kirk's assailant will face judgment in eternity. I believe that's my faith. I have no doubt about that. So if you're thinking about doing a school shooting, copycat, I wouldn't advise that, because you might be right. You might laugh at law enforcement. They'll never catch you. They might not. They really might not. Some of them are as inept, and we'll talk about that. Inept as a day is long. They don't know what they're doing. Promoted for political reasons. Talk about the attempted assassination on the now President Trump. This is complete inept. They couldn't protect him. But you might get by with it on this earth if you're planning on a assassination. And you might get by with it on this earth if you're a part of the government planning on assassination of someone's character like they did me. You might. I've got to face that. I don't know what God's will. I pray about it, and prayer changes prayer changes things. Prayer can move the hand of God in another direction where it's within his will. But it will help the public in that if the man is found that shot Charlie Kirk, because he's still at large. It's a public danger issue. As of now, the two people they released are not in custody in Utah, and it is a dangerous environment and world. He needs to be taken into custody. I don't know if he ever will. I think it's highly likely, if he's gotten by with that he will do it again. This calls for more awareness of allowing people to peacefully be activists. And it also calls for more promotion of faith in our public institutions, that God sees what you did and you'll pay for it. And even if people don't believe that, they need to hear it because it's the truth. But the man needs to be taken into custody, and he's forfeited his right to live on the planet. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to show you some pictures. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Thank you all for joining me. We're going to make this up close and personal about some things. The assassination by people in government power against me. Wow, isn't that kind of unique? We'll talk about the definition of activist. Includes a lot of activity. And we'll talk about assassination, which is more than just a rogue assailant's bullet. It can be by people in government power. So that's the update as far as I know this morning. Don't have anybody in custody. I'm not sure how far the investigation has gone, what evidence they got. I know they'll get more evidence. There's a lot of video cameras and cell phones. Hopefully they've got something conclusive to put together to eventually arrest this horrific, dangerous, nasty individual or group of individuals. We don't know anything right now. We know what the media is telling us, and a lot of it not necessarily true. They say that he acted alone. The people they arrested, they always say that. They don't know that because they don't want to get the whole kit and caboodle. Might be a huge, large domestic violence terrorist group trying to control America. Or it might be an anti-Christian group. They don't want to put that out. But they don't tell you the truth. But I will. That's why you need to listen to me, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Unbridled news. A journalist, yes. I'll report the news. So let's see how many people. And we'll get right into the broadcast, talking about how dirty thou art. I'm talking about state actors, government actors. And we've been going over that and how to protect yourself against them. Faith, prayer, and vote. And listen to me, I'll tell you the truth. They don't want to hear as long as I can. They've already tried to assassinate my character. It's not working. I'm still here. You know, I'm still here. You just made it worse. I got more rocks. David had more than one rock. So let me see how many people I got. Thank you all. God bless you all for joining me. We'll get into the broadcast, about an hour long. And we've had over 150,000 people in the past few days. So we'll talk about Charlie Kirk. So yeah, almost 300 people right now on the broadcast. But I shared a lot of Charlie Kirk's views. I share his faith, his Christian faith. And the update this morning, if somebody's heard different, put it in the post. Everyone's been arrested. We don't know how far the investigation has been. I know they'll get the bullet and they'll find more information as videos and stuff come in. And let's pray for the safety of people. And that's the main reason they need to bring that murderer in custody, is for safety of people, not just for the family. And let's pray that the investigation goes smoothly, and let's pray that the truth comes out. The truth comes out. And let's pray that people spread faith and accept the Lord in their heart, where they won't do heinous acts like that. So we're going to talk about something that is a no-no. That is, you're not supposed to do this. It's called freedom of speech. It's not defamation. Defamation is unprivileged, false information distributed to at least a third party that tends to lower somebody in the standing of the community. And I'm not spreading defamations. The stuff I'm saying is the truth about people. It's not wrong. The problem is, in our Tennessee courts, they're so crooked, they'll rule in favor of people in power, saying you're defaming them by telling the truth about them. Because even our judges in the state of Tennessee are rogue. They get 2 and 3 houses while people are going homeless off your fines and court costs. Oh, but don't talk about that. Yeah, that's the reason why my life, safety, and health protection and well-being is in danger. Because I'm talking about not some rogue gunman at a university. Because I'm talking about our rogue Tennessee government right now. People that are in power in the Tennessee government. And I'm supposed to be able to say that. But me and Michelle talked about it the other day. I'm not ignorant. I understand that's dangerous to speak the truth against power. They have a platform. They got their dirty court rulings. They have microphones. They have the news. If the governor wants to go speak on Channel 10 right now, or WVLT, if the governor wants to speak in WVLT, he goes and does the same thing as me pushes the button on the door at the front of WVLT and says, "I'd like to ask y'all a question." They'd come out there with their news cameras blazing, listen to, put a microphone in his hand, 2 or 3 cameras around and get several different angles and listen to what the governor of the state of Tennessee, the fine Christian man that he alleges that he is. But let's look at his fruits. Let's look at what that dirty man does. But see, I'm not allowed to say that because I'm speaking against people in public power, even though I have a right to. And that puts my life in danger. I've talked about that. I'm not ignorant. I know it's in bad danger. Serious threat. Not from a rogue gunman. Wow, isn't that unique? From a rogue governor. The former governor, Bill Haslam, he'd like to kill me. He's a dirty man. He's a thug. But see, you can't say that. Yeah, I just said it, didn't I? And I'll say it again. People in power in the Tennessee government and even local are a danger, just like a sniper, to my life. They'd like to stop my heart, stop my mouth, even though, say what's not fair, what you're saying to them. Yes, it is. Because just like I said, if the governor wants to go put out a message against me, wow, he's got millions that'll listen to him run down Charles Van Morgan, and they did in the news, falsely. But I don't have the right, with my cell phone and a few thousands that's building up every day, to talk about him, because you know why? And yeah, I'm going to say it, I'm going to speak the truth, because it is the truth, and my life's in danger. Because they will assassinate me, people in government power, and they've already trying to assassinate my character by their dirty lies. That's a fact. Type my name in Google and see all the lies that come up from the Christian governor, Bill Lee. Yeah, thank you, Bill. Yeah, overcome God. He's really in my heart. Is he in yours? Make it right. No, he won't, because he's not a good man. He's not a good man. He's a dirty man. And he worships another dirty man, Bill Haslam. But see, I can't say that. Even though they got a megaphone that's bigger than mine, they can contest what I say. They don't care about that. They want their voice, but they don't want you to have yours. They want to shut you down. And even if you don't like what I'm saying, don't I have the right to say it? They can say bad stuff about me, and they have. Amplified it. And used a sniper to try to destroy my character. But you know what? They ain't got it done, because I'm still out here. And I got a right to speak. I went to WVLT just like they did. Just like the governor could. He'd get a seat in the building. They told me to get off their property. Now tell me, isn't that a form of character assassination? We're like dogs to them. And I'm not just talking for me. You're like a dog. I'm speaking for you. If you fight the government, point out discrepancies in their little power grabs that go against you, things they do that go against the public, if you point that out, well, they'll run you down. They won't let you speak. You're just a dog. Get. Well, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, Mr. Bill has been. I'm not going anywhere. You're a thug. You'll always be a thug. There's a way you can make it right. You can make things. They won't make things right. And I'm a fighter. I'm not out here to make peace with thugs. I'm not out here to make peace with a man that shot Charlie Kirk, the coward that he did, from a distance far away. I'm not out here to make peace with him. I'd like to see him, bring him into custody, try him if he did, and execute him. I'm not here to make peace with people in government power. I'm here to bring them in, tell the truth about them, and bring them into justice. And that's dangerous. That's the government. So you can think about a lone government, and you can think about people in government power that have tried to assassinate, take a shot at my character. When my character is good, what they attacked me over, I was out saving the public. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. Character assassination is another form of assassination that these crooked people in power have done. And been very effective at it so far. But unlike Charlie Kirk, God chose for him to come home I'm still out here. I'm not dead yet. I'm not going anywhere until God calls me home or tells me different. Or people correct their dirty. So let's talk about that. What people in government power are doing. Hello? Yeah. Let's talk about it. So here's a picture of a mugshot of Donald J. Trump. I'll show you here. Yeah. Character assassination. Character assassination of Donald Trump. Yeah, if you type my name in Google, you'll find a mugshot of me where they arrested me in Chattanooga. Place I won't go unless I have to, because I don't want to get beat on by the government for doing this right here. Was I promoting violence? No, they said I was. I wasn't promoting violence. For running for government office, for saying that Tennessee government crimes cause hundreds to get killed. That's what I said on my sign to run for governor, but I'm not allowed to point out the truth because I got falsely arrested. There's a mugshot of me in Chattanooga, not for doing anything wrong. Assassination attempt by people in government power. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party did that. That's attacking someone's character. Say they did wrong, show a mugshot of them. That's been done to me. You know what? I'm proud of that. A man that stood for civil rights, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had a mugshot. I've got one too. One of the few. I didn't want to get one. But I knew. I wasn't a novice. I knew that standing against the government will get you arrested. Standing peacefully, telling about how they took me off the road and hundreds more people got killed on wrecks in Tennessee because they took the leading activists off the road that used his power appropriately and lowered the fatality rate. If you stand against people that lied to get you off the road government court rulings from rogue judges in Tennessee, they'll make up charges and arrest you. If you're running for governor, spreading the truth, got me arrested. And they put out their truth, which is false. They put out their lies through a mugshot. That's propaganda. That's false. Their charges didn't even stick because I could have went to a jury, a group of my peers, which wouldn't even been my peers in Chattanooga, but a group of citizens, and let them see the body cam where they said I resisted arrest. Where's that at? Anybody ever seen the body cam in my arrest where they said I resisted arrest? I'd like to see it because I know I was there. I didn't resist arrest. Body cams everywhere. And I asked for it. Why wouldn't they release it? Why would they not release a body cam of an arrest? That's public information, public knowledge, because they lied on their body cam. That propaganda would go against their little false narrative that I did something wrong, wouldn't it? That's a assassination of someone's character. I was also passing out Christian material, a book about being left behind at that polling place, behind the line legally, and that made some people mad. My right to speak, what you say can make people mad. They can get over it. They can put on their glad pants. A lady literally said that she was afraid of me. Now they quoted her in the news. Oh, lady was afraid of him. We had to arrest him. Afraid of me for passing out Christian material left behind. Afraid of me for saying vote for me. Afraid of me for my Christian conservative views. Wow, I got a right to those views. They put out their views in false propaganda. They put out their mugshot, didn't they? WVLT slammed me on their news channel, didn't they? I did nothing wrong. And Republicans were there. They're the ones that came out. I got that video where they came to me. I didn't come to them. They came to me. I didn't step across the line. They did. Democrats were there laughing when they knocked me down and hurt me. Put me in the hospital. My back hurt for days after that because I was running for governor. Violence. And who did that violence? Not some long thug at a college Who did that violence against Charles Van Morgan? The same people that will, if you don't go along with the program, they'll be violent towards you. They'll be violent towards you. I'm talking about government violence, people in government power that are violent. Wow, no, you don't talk about that. I know, my life's in danger because of that. It is. It's in danger. Now, I carry a weapon that I'm legally, lawfully allowed to carry. They even took that away from him, made a big deal of it. He uses means to protect his life. That's bad. No, well, I don't care what you say is bad. I still got a weapon. I got the weapon back they took away from me. Charged me with a felony for carrying a gun that I'm lawfully allowed to carry. And I'm going to carry it because I'm going to protect myself. If they don't like it, then either duck or don't violate my constitutional rights. Now, I'm not going to shoot a cop for violating my constitutional rights. We'll fight it in court. If they try to take my life, I'll fight for it. And what that entails is let the bullets fall where they may, but you're not taking me out of this world without a fight. If you want that kind of fight, bring it on. And they got enough resources to kill me, and they may. They may. I'm no idiot. I understand the consequences of standing out and speaking the truth. Not against a lone gunman possibly a lone gunman in Utah, speaking out against people in government power in the state of Tennessee, sitting in the governor's office, calling himself a Christian. You do that, and it's dangerous. And I know that. I got put in jail for it. There's the evidence right there. And if you say, well, you committed, why didn't they prosecute that? If I committed a crime, they had all the evidence. They put it out on the news because it wasn't about me committing any crime. I didn't commit any crime. It's about character assassination. The lady said she was afraid of me. And if you look at the facts, she went in and voted, did she? She got her vote in, so she wasn't too afraid to go in and vote. But she was too afraid to come back out to her car. She wasn't too afraid to come back out to her car. I never hurt anybody. Never displayed my weapon. Never did anything but ask people to vote for me, speak the truth, my values, handing out Christian material. That's in the United States of America, in the state of Tennessee, where we have an alleged Christian governor. Or Mr. Christian Governor, I was handing out Christian material. Are you really Christian? No, I don't believe so. I think he's a dirty thug that ought to be put in jail himself. Let's get a mugshot of Bill Has-Been. Oh, we can't do that. Why not? Because of money. Because of money. Because he supports a lot of rogue people. He gets a lot of people elected to powerful positions that cover up his dirty. So, let's talk about character assassination. Does damage just like a bullet takes somebody's life. Let's talk about who's doing that. I'm not allowed to do that, even though they got a bigger platform than me to contest what I'm saying. If you contest what I'm saying, go ahead and do it. They could have contested what I'm saying by prosecuting me in front of a jury, trying to prosecute me for a crime I didn't commit. They get it done all the time, but they lied in their court rulings. That lady wasn't afraid to come back out to her car. She knew I was out there getting support and votes, speaking what I wanted to talk about, and talking to people that wanted to listen to me, and increasing the number of votes I got. That's what it's about, increasing the number of votes I got, resonating, because the truth resonates with people. And she was afraid I'd get more voters, which I'm not allowed to do. I'm not allowed for people to listen to me where they can say, hey, wait a minute, that makes sense what he's saying. I think I'm on his side. I think I believe him, and I don't believe people in government power. That detracts from how easy it is for them to run over you. Somebody shining truth on a dirty, sick governor that just promoted somebody that stole valor. But I'm not allowed to say that, because then my life's in danger. I take measures to protect myself. She wasn't afraid to come back out to her car. She was afraid that if she let me standing on the sidewalk where I was legally allowed to, just like the Republican and Republican Party, not the people, and the Democrat Party, that I would win hearts and minds by telling the truth. So they can't let you speak. They incarcerated me right in the middle of a political campaign. And it don't matter if I'd have got one more supporter or 100 more or been able to win the race. I have a right to say it, to shine a spotlight on government corruption. It caused hundreds of people to get killed. It caused death. If you think I'm being too harsh on people in government power, on the governors, the rogue governors, one of them killed somebody. Ray Blanton, they've come to figure out he killed somebody. I wonder about all the hidden crimes of our crooked governor. So let's, they're worshiping the Republican Party. The Republican leadership in a lot of states is responsible for a lot of this violence against people. Don't idolize them. Worship God. And to hell with these people. That's where they're going. If they continue their violence, I got a right to say what I'm saying. Try to shut me up. See what happens to you. I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to keep trying to protect myself and speak the truth. So they arrested me because I was shining a light on their corruption, and they tried to assassinate my character with a arrest mugshot. After all, if you get arrested, you're a thug, right? No, it made me a hero because it shows I'm the real deal, standing up to corruption, stand up to their corruption. The charges didn't stick. Why didn't they stick? Because I didn't do anything. Because if they had went to court, they would have had to release body cam footage, and we would have showed that to the jury. Their lies in their arrest report. We'd have showed that to the jury, and this is what you said in your arrest report that you signed your name to and swore to, that you swore before a corrupt judicial commissioner that signed a warrant that he never should have signed. Let's talk about how the system's bad. And then if you'd have went to court, if they'd went to court in Chattanooga, they would have had to release that body cam footage that showed they were lying under oath. So let's just make this go away. Charges dismissed. So they won't talk about that. They won't talk about, I should have never been arrested in the first place. But that just shines a light on, I'm proud of that mugshot. I got arrested, much like the president, Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. A lot of people got a mugshot for John Lewis for doing the right thing. And I feel myself privileged to be in the footsteps. Also, Lester Roloff got a mugshot because he's standing up to a crooked government that character assassinates. But they don't want me saying that. Let's talk about character assassination. Can be just as deadly. You say, oh, you're crying over a little rest, got a little hurt. Now let's talk about, I'm 61 years old. 61 years old. I can't get a job anywhere that's worth anything. I have to work on my own because I can't get a job because according to Lowell Russell, I drove past a wreck and saw somebody burning to death, which is absolutely a lie, even by a witness on the scene. But the government wanted me to look bad because they didn't like me making them look bad by showing what a real trooper can do when they set out to do God's work. So they assassinated my character. You go try to get a job when you're considered somebody that's a coward. You can't do it. That's the same thing as shooting somebody in the neck in another way. There's more than one way to kill somebody. You can destroy their character where it's hard for them to live on the planet. I can't get a good job anywhere. Even I have all kinds of degrees, education and knowledge, but people in the government is responsible. The government in Tennessee. Now they talk about the government in Russia. What about the dirty people in power in the state of Tennessee? And they could even make it right, but they won't. You go try to get a job. You say, oh, that's not bad. You're not hurt. You just lost your job and you'll be all right. No, just listen to the consequences of their character assassination of Charles Van Morgan for arresting more people and providing more safety to the public than any trooper in the state. I was an activist fighting the problem of the dangers of impaired and drunk driving on the state. Very active. That's another form of activism. And look what they did to me. They destroyed my character. Evil people tried to destroy my character. Assassination of character by people in the government. They don't want to talk about that though, do they? No, let's don't talk about that. Let's praise the people with power and money. Hell no, it ain't gonna happen until they make things right, because it's dangerous to you. The fatality rate, that next year, 78 more people were killed on Tennessee roadways because they took me off the road and set a precedence that if you go out, try to do your job, and save little children from getting injured, we don't care. We'll release the perpetrator and make you out to be the bad guy because other troopers can't keep up, and you're making us look bad because you try to avoid. I tried to avoid trouble with Larry Russell. I didn't initiate confrontation. He initiated it with me. I put in paperwork to get off his damn shift because he was so crooked, asking me to do stuff that could have endangered me by his lies and corruption. He was in internal affairs. They know how to twist the truth and get people fired that they don't like. It ain't about people doing a good job. About a month before they fired me, I was in the newspapers all over Knoxville for another one of my public safety endeavors that not just saved lives, way secondary on the list, that saved your money. I arrested a man that was in a hundreds of thousands of dollars of stealing in credit card theft, all over the United States, and incarcerated him. He pled guilty, got 10 years in jail. That was in the newspaper about a month before my wrongful termination by people in power that are crooked, that are snipers, that try to destroy somebody's character. But see, saying that endangers my safety. And I'm telling you, if something happens to me, the first place to look, now listen to me, I'm going to say this, the first place to look if I end up dead, you'll find the sniper. You'll find the sniper. The first place to look anyway is not some rogue gunman. If something happens to me, the first place to look is that people in government power would like to kill me. I'm not doing anything except shine the light on their corruption. I wasn't doing anything but lowering the fatality rate. But see, that's not popular to speak out against corruption, even though it's a constitutionally protected right. So we'll go further with this and show you some pictures. Thank y'all for joining me. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Charlie Kirk, dead at 31. An activist speaking truth to power. And look what happened. Charles Van Morgan in the morning speaking truth to power. An activist, long before Charlie Kirk was. God bless his soul and his family. And look what happened to me. They tried to assassinate my character. And I assure you, I'm not fake. I had good character. They didn't. And they got a megaphone to speak out against me if I'm lying. But they've already got their lies legitimized falsely through a crooked Tennessee court system. So let's see how many people I got on here. Hello, fellas.
What's up, man?
So yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah. Over 200 people. Somebody calling me John Goodman on there. I don't look like John Goodman. I'm not a comedian. Does it sound like I'm funny? So the first place to look, if I end up dead, and I take every precaution necessary that I can without hiding under the mattress, I'm not going to do that. I carry a firearm. I try to take precautions, and we'll take more. The first place to look, have I built that up enough? It's not with a rogue gunman, maybe a lone gunman. It's with people in government power would like to kill me. Mr. Bill Haslam would like me dead. He doesn't care about human life. He gets rich stepping over bodies. Soon after they took my job from me, lowering the fatality rate, he did a commercial, not about drunk driving. He did a commercial about seatbelt use. Big movie star doing a commercial. Everybody listens to the line Bill has been. Got his name all over the university. The crooked man that he is. He did a commercial about seatbelt use. Seatbelt use doesn't kill anybody. It could kill you. I would advise wearing your seatbelt. Seatbelt use can kill you. The problem is that, and we're showing it. The problem is that drunk driving kills other people. Let me show you this here. We got 150,000 people that are watching. Hello, people in government power. Now they'll speak out against me, try to assassinate my character. I have good character. Look at this cool barge out here on the river. And let me show you, I got to show you the Baumgartner Courthouse. It's people with government power, crooked people. From that courthouse, they released hundreds of drunk drivers onto society. From that, that's how they kill people. The people in government power. That's a bridge they got closed down that is shutting down our economy. See these roads backed up? People won't come through Knoxville because of these people. But I'm not allowed to say that. They can say different. They got more people listening to them than they do me. But I'm not allowed to speak out against them in America. I have to watch what I eat, not poison my damn food. I see, I was out, my first activism was protecting the public. Look at this right here. They even gave me awards still. Lion Little Russell come along. Look at this. Tennessee Highway Patrol. Even they gave me an award. DUI enforcement. Better than any trooper in the state. Lowered the fatality rate. Then they got rid of me because they said I saw a wreck off the side of the road. I'm talking about assassination. Somebody's character. Charlie Kirk got shot in the head. Shot in the neck. Yeah, they shot my character. Shot at it. I tried to destroy my life. And I'm 61 years old because of what they did to me. I have no medical insurance. Poor people die faster than rich people. Poor people don't have medical care like they should. It causes their life to end prematurely. I don't have medical insurance. Larry Russell in the State Highway Patrol took my medical insurance away from me. I have no medical insurance. There's a lot of procedures that I should have done to make sure I don't have cancer stuff. I don't have the money to do it. So this character assassination can be deadly to me. There's a lot of consequences to what they did to me. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm just saying they shot me in the neck. Shot my character. Tried to. They're trying to destroy me. That's the truth. Character assassination is what they did to me. A sniper was the government, people in power in Tennessee. And here's what I'm saying. They want me to say, oh, let's do the same. No, let's this is what they won't let me say. Listen to this. This is what they won't let me say. Just like when I was running for governor. Look at this. They arrested me carrying this sign right here. They arrested me carrying that sign. They won't let me say this. Listen, this is what they don't want me to say. It's real important. It's real dangerous to them. Very dangerous to them. Vote them out. Can't say that. They'll throw you in jail. You'll get a mugshot. You can't try to save people's life. Now look, this is what they fired me over. In a fire, Trooper Charles Van Morgan in harm's way trying to save a life. As we think about fires in California, here's me, Charles Van Morgan, trying to save lives in harm's way, fighting a horrific fire in Knoxville, Tennessee, November 2011. And they fired me, rigged that up. Now here's some judges that did that. You say, well, judges ruled against you, so? Judges are snipers. They put false information out in road court rulings. They're dirty as hell. Judges in Tennessee, you're not allowed to say that, even if it's the truth. Judges in Tennessee, some of the most crooked judges in the United States of America. Let me get down so the government won't shoot at me. Yeah, I can say that. They can get on television writing their rulings, counter what I'm saying, but I'm not allowed to say that because you'll get arrested, you'll get defamed. I'm not talking about a lone sniper in Utah. What we need to worry about is the government in the state of Tennessee. And let me get behind cover because they'll shoot me for that. They'll try to kill me. I'm just saying, I'm being a little exaggerated. They might. I'm trying to play act a little bit, but you get the point. You say judges ruled against you. Oh, wow, did they really? Judges lied, put the legitimacy, the weight of law on falsehoods. Imagine saying that. Judges are dirty. Yeah, they are. Tennessee judges are the most crooked in the United States of America, I believe. People tell me they're crooked everywhere. I don't know. I haven't lived everywhere. I know how dirty they are in Tennessee. They have 2 and 3 houses off your tax money, live off your tax money, issuing rogue rulings. I've seen it happen up close and personal. While they have 2 and 3 houses and people are homeless in Tennessee, they could care nothing about you. They care about their money and their power. Vote them out. It's time we stand up and take our city. I don't believe we ever had it, but they are the protesters. I'm not a protester. This is our government, voters' government. They're protesting me. I was out doing what I was supposed to be doing when they protested me with their lies, with their shot at my character. But, I'm not allowed to talk about that. Well, I am talking about it. God protects me. The angel of the Lord encamped about them that fear him and delivereth them. That's what I believe. God help me and protect me and help and protect you too. God bless and protect you. And that's the reason why I'm saying this, for your protection. No one speaks out about the government snipers like I do. And I'm speaking out about them for your protection, not mine, just like I was lowering the fatality rate. So many people we got in here. Yeah, we're about an hour and 10 minutes. And we'll go over a few more of this and then get the hell out of here. But here is rulings. This chancellor right here ruled against me. Chancellor McCoy ruled that I shouldn't have my job, that I seen a wreck, drove past intentionally. That judge right there. What'd she do? Oh, she was right. No, look at this. Governor has been, here's the one that fired me, for protecting, lowering the fatality rate. They raised it. I lowered it. They raised it. See, look at this. They raised the fatality rate. 78% more. This is after my termination. More people are dead. That's kind of serious, isn't it? Kind of serious. And this judge ruled against me, McCoy. Look at this right here. That governor right there, that dirtbag's got his name on those buildings over there. Look at that. Look at that great university over there. He's running that with his name. And there's a game against Georgia Saturday. Now he fired me. He was a governor when I was fired wrongfully, when I was lowering the fatality rate. He raised it. And that judge right there, McCoy, ruled against me. Now look at this. Wife, Chancellor, Court, unjust Judge McCoy, despite facts, truth, ruled in favor of Haslam, then governor, to get husband promoted to Supreme Court of Tennessee. Has been to keep rulings in his favor. Page went on to lie to the people of Tennessee, saying he would be sworn in a few months, only to go and have it done immediately. That was to avoid public scrutiny of him and his wife. So judges ruled in favor of the governor. The governor promotes people. Ruled in favor to keep me off the roads, to stop me from continuing to protect lives. And in order to, if you rule for the governor, then the governor promotes you, whether or not it's true or not. They rule for the governor. Why do they do that? Because they're rogue, dirty snipers. Character assassination puts me in my 60s without medical insurance. Tell me they're not dirty. Tell me they're not life-threatening. These judges, Haslam is life-threatening. They care about foreigners, not Tennesseans. Protect yourself and all Tennesseans from rogue Tennessee unjust judges. That was the other election. I didn't get the word out enough. Vote against the retention and oust the governor. And he's still got his governor in power. It just went on to, here's another unjust judge. McMillan, see, I'm not allowed to say this. I'm saying it. He's an unjust judge. Another Tennessee dirty judge refused to allow me to answer questions defending myself against false allegations. See, I was defending myself against false allegations. I defended myself against character assassination, and this judge allowed him. A special prosecutor for corrupt judges like this. Corruptly rules to get orders of protection, taking gun rights away like water. See, he's trying to take my ability to protect myself. Abuses his power using his position to insult people. Said I didn't know the law, but had to get his law book out on numerous cases, so he doesn't. If you want to keep your rights, vote him out and us pay for authorized. Okay. But see, stand against the government. Not allowed to say that. Roger Page, husband of McCoy, who rules for governor, has been to get promoted by has been. Who rules for governor has been to get husband promoted. That's what McCoy did. Ruled against me in the Tennessee Supreme Court several times. Ruled against me about me getting my job back so I could lower the fatality rate again. Ruled against me to get my law license. Character assassination. Is he any different? Is that man any different? Let me put my finger on his nose. Is that man any different than a rogue sniper? Wrote a rogue court ruling, his wife did. Are they any different? No, they're not. It's called character assassination. He's got medical insurance, several houses. Several houses. Here, let's hit him in the face. Let's bust his nose. Yeah, that's not for real. That's just hypothetically. He's a rogue judge. He's a dirty sniper. I'm not allowed to say that. That's the truth. And you say, oh, you're being hard. Look at this. People got killed because of them. And this is just 1 year. People are dead. 78 more deaths. They're responsible for that. They're responsible for that. They did that. People killed. People's family members killed. I was out on the road doing something about that. Activism. I didn't have time to do what they said I did. They put some dirty lies out about me, some crooked stuff, and then took it back because they knew it wasn't true. They did what's called ringing the bell, which can cause, in a courtroom, a case to be dismissed. When you ring the bell against people in government power, I hope these people don't think I'm going to jump. I'm not. They'll push me over and say I did. But when you ring the bell in a courtroom, you say something you shouldn't say. It biases the jury sometimes, even if the judge says that it's not right what you said. Sometimes it poisons the jury where they heard it and the bell's been rung and they can't get it back. A lot of times lawyers will say stuff they know is not true that will be objected to successfully, and the objection will be sustained just to get things in a legal term for them to ring the bell. They've said it, and the judge will sometimes, in cases where they're doing right, call a mistrial because the bell's been rung. They said something even though it was objected to and sustained. The jury heard it, and they shouldn't have heard that. These people over here, Randy Nichols from this courthouse, because from the Baumgardner courthouse, Randy Nichols from that dirty courthouse, while he was endangering the public, releasing hundreds of drunk drivers, saying that I was responsible for that, even though a district attorney in another county wanted me to testify, which I did, and I didn't even get paid for it. But it's not about the money, it's about saving lives. He rang the bell against me, said something he knew wasn't true. In one of his court papers, even he knows that's protected. You can say what you want to about people in court proceedings. That's not defamation because it's covered under defamation is unprotected false communication. One of the things that's protected is in court proceedings because judges are supposed to deal with what's the same thing as defamation in court rulings. So he knew he could say that for court rulings, and he said something heinous about me, horrible, horrific, dirty, nasty about me. That wasn't true, and he knew it, and he even rang the bell because he said that's not true, but I thought it might be. So he rang the bell. That's what they did. Character assassination against Charles Van Morgan, causing people on Tennessee roadways to get killed. Talking about Charlie Kirk, talking about my life in danger, saying this. Does this make any sense? Yeah, it does, because it's true. Look at this right here. Moms for mass school shootings. They said they wanted to plow down school librarians with a freaking gun. Look at this lady here. She, one of our group, Moms for Liberty, they're not for liberty. They're for defamation, tried to defame me, saying bad stuff about me when I ran for political office. They are promoting school violence. Moms for Liberty. If you remember that group, get out of it. Get out of it. They try to destroy my character. But look, I'm fighting back, ain't I? Ha 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 ha. Yeah, how you like that? Look at that lady. Lied about me, trying to destroy my character. Look at these people right here exposing corruption on Facebook. That's why they arrested me. Lisa Perlin, Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, Director Justin Connie Clark, and Tennessee Board of Law Examiners members and lawyer Barbara Zulica of Memphis, and Margaret B. Power to You, the People movement. Look at this. Look at this right here. These are members. These are line members. The reason why I can't practice law, they can. They shouldn't be allowed to. They're dirty, crooked liars. And saying that I'm not honest. I'm very honest. I'm telling you the truth. They don't like it because it's the truth. Makes sense. Let me tell you about these people. Now, this is what they put up. And I reapplied again. They won't give me my law license because I told the truth about them. And I'll keep telling the truth about them. You ain't stopping me. I'm not going to lie to get my law license. That's what the problem is. Got too many liars that have their law license because they worship the government. I'm not worshiping the government. The government's supposed to serve you. They serve themselves. Look at these people. And Lying Lisa lied to steal my second attempt. Imagine that. Unjustice Clark picked a now convicted federal felon who turned down my law license while she was committing an admitted felony of dishonesty, saying, although I committed no crime, I lack candor. Do I sound like I lack candor? It's not about candor. I tell the truth. She will commit a felony of dishonesty. So we'll cover a few more things. Now look at this dirty governor of Tennessee. We're going about an hour and a half. Still got a lot of viewers. Look at this. And I'm going to get off here in just a second. We'll cover some more of this stuff tomorrow, talking about Charlie Kirk, activism. We're talking about Charles Van Morgan's activism. We're talking about Charlie Kirk getting shot and killed. That's much worse than what they've done to me. I can still fight back. Talking about character assassination, another form of assassination by a activist, political and otherwise. So look at this right here. Governor Bill Lee, and has been promoted this lady, Captain Stacey Heavily, sound of the glass, on dealing with trauma and returning to duty. She got hit by a drunk driver. Isn't that a little poetic justice? Isn't that a little poetic justice? I was taking drunk drivers off the road. What she did increased drunk drivers, the amount of drunk drivers on the road. She took the #1 trooper off the road, sent a message to all troopers. It's not about protecting the public, it's about worshiping the brass and keeping us legitimate and in power. Captain Stacy Heatherly, read this right here. Captain Stacy Heatherly, she's now a major, is a 27-year veteran of the Tennessee Highway Patrol and is currently the Knoxville District Captain for the Department of Safety. It's the Department of Danger and Homeland Security. Stacy was the lieutenant over the Knoxville District Dignitary Protection Unit 2019. Oh, wow, that's how she got promoted. Hobnobbing with the big dogs. I was out at night lowering the fatality rate. Wow, but that don't make any difference. It's about praising people in power like Bill has been. With additional dignitary details over her 27-year career as Lieutenant Sergeant and Trooper Captain Headley career. Read the last sentence, credible source, she says didn't serve at all. Responsible unit Captain Headley, also a 20-year veteran, retired from the 278 1175th Division Army National Guard. Look at this right here. How's the Tennessee Highway Patrol emblem? Women in law enforcement. She's a disgrace to women in law enforcement. She never served a day in the military. I reported that to them. What did they do? They promoted her after I reported her. So they want to destroy my character. Look at the truth about these people. Look at the truth about these people. And we'll continue tomorrow. Here's how they sell these lies to the public. Look at this WVLT. WVLT. Look at this. My mugshot, just like the president's mugshot. The former president of the president now of Tennessee. He had a mugshot too, didn't he? And look at my mugshot, just like the president now, just like Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. See, I'm proud of that because I got that for running for governor of the state of Tennessee. And I did that at the beginning of the video, told you about that. And also activists lowering the fatality rate. And that's what they did to me. Try to ruin my character. This is Heatherly with all these hobnobs. Look at these people. Mayor, there's a man that was in another city when we had a major snowstorm. Look at these people. Heatherly. Look at that hunchback in Notre Dame. Look at these people. The commissioner right here getting herself a brand new building when people going homeless and raising the fatality rate. So yeah, that's what they do. Look at this right here. Trot released hundreds of drunk drivers, causing hundreds more people to get killed by pursuing a fake case against me, Charles Van Morgan. Yeah, that's what he is. So we'll cover some more of this stuff tomorrow. Thank y'all for listening. We hope we got 100,000 viewers. I'm proud of my mugshot. I showed you the WVLT picture. That is, I went and knocked on their door. I'm saying a lot of stuff about people in power. I went and knocked on WVLT's door like the news knocked on my door when they were defaming me. And I went and knocked on their door and asked them why, trying to ask them why they didn't print my picture, and wrote a bad story about me when I was running for public office, character assassination. Why they didn't print my picture, why they were being biased news, why they were trying to assassinate my character, WVLT, the news channel. I wouldn't listen to that channel until they apologize. We'll give them I'm Christian, we'll forgive. They won't apologize though, so I'm not worried about it. Let me be on your show, WVLT, talk about government corruption, talk about people in power corruption. Let me be on your show to try to protect the public against government corruption and tell the story, the truth. Oh, they won't let me do that. But if Bill Haslam, or the dirty man he is, or the alleged Christian governor, Bill Lyon Lee, knocks on WVLT's door just like I did, they'll invite him in, silver spoon, give him the best seat in the house, turn every camera on and listen to everything they say, broadcast it everywhere. Wow, they'll just listen to them put their propaganda out, truth or not. I'm saying it's not true. I'm telling you it's not true. what they say is a bunch of lies to keep themselves in power, right out of a sociology handbook. I'll read you the stuff tomorrow. We'll cover that, about what sociology, what science says about power and how they legitimize it through dirty stuff. So we'll do that tomorrow. But they told me, and by telling me, they're telling you, because I'm out to protect you, to get off their property. Exact words, get off our property right now. But so they don't let me like me saying this. WVLT line news, but I'm saying it anyway because it protects you, the public, and we'll protect ourselves. So the last thing I'm going to say, and as I always say, and I'll find it here, get off here. Join me tomorrow. We're getting a lot of viewers. I could talk forever. We started this program talking about Charlie Kirk. God rest his soul. Pray for his family. Thank God for freedom that people in the government are trying to take away from us, if you can see that. And here we go. I'll make sure you see it. Thank God for freedom. And also, last thing I'll say, and we'll end it with this, is God loves you until tomorrow, and I do too. God loves you, and I do too. Thank y'all for listening. God bless you.